I'm gonna conquer the world. I'm gonna just, dedicate so many hours in Chinese every day.
One of
But
the biggest reasons that a person does not become fluent in Chinese is either consistency or doesn't have the time. And I know being able to dedicate the time consistently is probably the hardest thing, especially when you want to reach a high level. You do need to be dedicating the time. So we want to explore how can we do that today, and what are the best tips and actions that we see our students take and that we see people who reach fluency take.
Yep.
Especially for the super busy people. Cool?
Yep, amazing.
Awesome. So yeah, if you're a busy person, maybe you only have a couple hours per week or 4 to 6 hours per week, like you're also super busy.
Yeah.
What I don't want to dive into like what do we need to do straight away, but what's typically happening? Why are people so busy to not learn Chinese?
I think it's not a habit. Like it just doesn't occur to you, right? Like it occurs to people like, oh, scroll social media, hang out with friends or family activities or other habits, hobbies that you already have. But then a lot of people don't have the habits to learn Chinese. And this is also related to their planning skills. It's a lot of the time it's like, oh, I need to set aside time for Chinese learning. When you do get to that time, you don't know what to do because you haven't planned what you need to do this week, what you want to achieve this week, this month, this a few months, right? So planning and habits.
Yeah, I often think about it as like a sport as well, like going to the gym. If you're only going to the gym once per week, you're not really gaining muscles. You're kind of maintenance, probably even losing a little bit.
Yeah.
Just really maintaining basic health. And if you want to have basic Chinese, then it's the same as having basic health. So reaching a high level does require to have a different mindset and think about it more like going to the Olympics. Maybe not that high, not that hard, but take it as seriously.
Yeah, Oscar, you and I were talking about, while we were in, I think we were watching something, it was a speech or something, and that guy, remember, he said the power of one more. It's, I think learning languages is a lot similar to going to the gym. You want to challenge your physical ability, right? So what he explained it was that the last set of like weightlifting, for example, determines how much you gain the ability, how much you gain your muscle, right? So in terms of language learning, it's very hard to measure this. Like, oh, what's my last stretch is, like how many words does it mean that I need to gain each time I learn. So people don't have that system in place, don't know exactly what they need to do. Even people know what they need to do, they don't know how much to challenge themselves. Some people challenge themselves too much, and then they quit, they get overwhelmed, frustrated, beaten up, or they're not challenging themselves enough. They just feel good, like, oh, I've done some Chinese today, but they actually don't know if they've actually improved or not.
Yeah, that's something to be careful about, because if you're not measuring your progress, then you don't know how fast or how far you're going as well. So being able to measure is very important.
Yeah.
So let's talk about maybe some actionable things that people can actually do. Like if either they're going super hard and then they take a break, or they're not able to dedicate enough time, what are some things that people can do?
I think a comprehensible input is always something really good to help you.
What is that?
It's something, say you're an intermediate Chinese learner, right? You don't understand native speakers' conversations yet, but it doesn't mean that you don't understand Chinese at all. You're like in an intermediate, you can understand some basic conversations at a slower pace. So that would be a really good starting point for you to listen to those kind of videos, podcasts. There are a bunch of resources here, and we are giving out a free list as well. So those are good resources that you can stick to. Usually it's very fun to watch a YouTube video on a topic you are interested. For example, cultural differences between your country and China, right? Or 5 weird habits of Chinese people. So that's actually like really fun. So it doesn't feel like learning. It feels like you're just like understanding more the culture, and it's really good to immerse yourselves in Chinese that you understand. So that's a really good habit to have. I typically suggest the students to commit to 2 to 3 videos per week. Let's say a video is, I think the sweet spot is 6 minutes. I love 6 minutes video, but take a 6 to 10 minutes video. For example, you can commit to it 2 to 3 videos per week, and you just sit down and then you watch. You can enjoy a tea, or if you're already familiar with the topic and you're watching it again, you can be cooking as well. That's a really good habits to have.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
So comprehensible input is something that is designed that you understand quite a lot of it, not everything,
Mm-hmm.
but it's helping you to basically put the words that you know into context and
Yeah.
reinforce.
In teaching term, it's called I+1. I represents the level that you already have and you're comfortable with, that the knowledge you have, and you stretch yourself a little bit. Not
Yeah.
I+2 or I+10.
Watch out for that.
Yeah, that's counterproductive. Actually, it's gonna make you overwhelmed. So stretch yourself a little bit more. So you actually can detect the word that you don't understand, and you can feel the context where it's in. And when you listen to something, it's also really important to not make it a different type of exercise, right? You don't study it, you don't write down the characters. Otherwise, it will be a character writing exercise, or I don't know, grammar exercise.
Yeah.
You know, it's for your ears.
Mm.
That's important to know.
100%. And just as an example, an I+10, for example, is like when you're a beginner and trying to watch Chinese dramas in Chinese. There, it's everything is new, so it's not as helpful to train your listening.
No.
But let's get back to saving time and how to manage time effectively. What's maybe like a daily habit or a rule that you'd like to have to help people be more effective on a daily basis?
I really love the Atomic Habits. It's a book. I read it. I think it's everything about habits building. It's there. The one that we use the most is combination of habits. So I coach my students to do this, to observe what habits they already have in their daily life, especially habits that they really enjoy. Take myself, for example. There was some time I struggled so much to learn Portuguese. It's not that I didn't like it or I didn't enjoy the language. It was I got so absorbed at work and I forgot about everything else. So I realized I really liked looking to a task organization app. I look forward to that every morning. So what I did was to watch a Portuguese video or go through my flashcards right before that. So it almost feels like a reward for me. Like, oh, I did my job. I get to check that app. It's a very positive association. So that habit is something I really like. So it helps me to reinforce my new habit, which is to study Portuguese for 10 minutes. Yep.
Awesome. So habit stacking.
Yep. Habit stacking. Yeah.
Super cool. One other thing that often people do is like if you have a commute.
Yeah.
Right?
True.
Can you explain that one?
It was, some people would tell me that I am driving, I don't know what to do, I can't write characters. They think they have to study, like hardcore study. That's a real studying. No.
Wait.
Yeah, in language learning, that's a typical, like, it's a trap. So I have a student, she is so hilarious, and she told me she could drive and do her makeup, but that aside, she actually drives. She listens to a Chinese story, and she actually say it out loud when she listens to it.
Excellent.
So she makes it a really productive practice during commute.
Yeah, if you have a commute, reviewing something or speaking out, if you're with other people, just review it to train your listening. It could be super powerful.
Yeah.
Use the moment, the dead time that you have in your day.
The dead time. Yeah. Recently, I was coaching a student as well. She makes a tea every day. You know, like when you make tea, you have to wait for the hot water and then you make it and you wait for the tea to cool down a bit. So that's a solid 5 to 10 minutes that she decided to dedicate to review her flashcards.
Awesome. Easy.
Yeah, it's really, I have so much love for Chinese learners, language learners until in general. I understand so much their pain, you know, because I go through all of that. I think it's really important to have a mindset which is your brain is making it bigger than it really is. It's actually really simple. It's actually really easy. You just need to start from baby step. Don't think about, I'm gonna conquer the world. I'm gonna just, you know, dedicate so many hours in Chinese every day. What tends to work for our brain to lower that friction is, what is the tiny step that I can take? And then you can just like stack them. Stack the small actions that you do. You'll be really shocked by the compounding effect. After consistently doing it for months, 6 months, a year, years, that effect is crazily powerful.
Yeah. I love your rule, the 2-minute rule. Like, just do 2 minutes per day. That's all
2
you
minutes.
Do you have 2 minutes per day? If you don't,
Yeah.
then why are you trying to learn Chinese?
You know, a really funny thing that I want to share with everyone is that I have my first boyfriend. He was like super busy, and he used to tell me that I didn't have time for you. He would really leave me, like, he didn't read my messages or didn't call me at all. I asked him why. He would just say I was busy. Then I realized this is not true, because everyone has
The same 24 hours.
a few minutes to go to the bathroom. When you poop, you can text me too. Do you ever poop or pee? So I was like, it's such a funny statement. Like, we do have those minutes, and people just say, I'm too busy, but you do have the time.
Yeah. If you're not pooping and reviewing Chinese, what are you pooping for?
Pooping for something useful.
No,
That's
but
hilarious.
in the end, it's not about not having the time, because we all have 24 hours in a day, but making the time for what's important. So maybe you need to realize, is learning Chinese something that's actually important for you, and that you can actually prioritize and use your pooping time for.
Yeah, hopefully that we have given you some insights. What's your biggest takeaway? Please comment down below this video. Do you want us to cover more struggles that you have, give you more learning tips? Oscar and me, Zhifei, we're just more than happy to commit to this, dedicate time to this every week. Just let us know if this is helpful for you or not.
Yeah. Last thing I was thinking about as well, about the prioritization, that oftentimes we think we need to do everything, and the reason why we don't spend 2 minutes is because, like, does 2 minutes even matter? But it does matter. Like, the small compounding effects have a bigger impact than the large, intense.
Exactly.
Because we don't always
Compounding effects.
Yeah.
So I think that's such a topic for adults. And
not for kids.
but the thing is, it's a lot more challenging. Like, listen to me. Like, when I was a kid, I never had to think about this. I had time to dedicate to the subjects. And when I was in the uni, I had tons of time in the library. But it's such a, I feel like, adult topic, is because you might have a business, you might have a career, right? You want to build relationship, you want to find the love of your life, and you want to take care of your family, you want to take care of your kids. You have so many projects to take care of at the same time. Like, every adult need to learn this.
Yeah.
How to prioritize, build habits, and take use of that time.
And it starts with knowing, why do you want to learn Chinese? I think that's the most important part. Awesome. Biggest takeaway, and was this helpful? Boo helpful?
Helpful.
Let us know.
All right. Yeah, let us know.
Cringe.
See you next time.
再见。
Bye bye.